Welcome to another episode of the Good Karma Life podcast. I am Lorena Martinez, your host, and I can't wait to share more storytelling about how to bring the sacred into our life, how to bring science, spirituality, and create magic guided by the wisdom of our soul and our unique expression of the divine. So let's jump right in. So welcome again. If you've been a loyal listener or if you are new to the Good Karma Life podcast, welcome. I am your host, Lorena Martinez, Lore Marti, and today, again, I feel so passionate about sharing tools, but most like the tools that have helped my life, that those tools that have truly helped me transform my life from within, transforms my reality from everything that is inside, starting with thought patterns and different generational patterns, my biological DNA, my quantum DNA, my Akasha. Like, I believe that as humans, as sons and daughters of the Divine Mother, the Divine Father, we were given this opportunity to experience the soul journey that we need as a soul to transcend, to evolve, to move forward, to get closer to the central sun, the creator, the creatrix. But I believe there's a beautiful saying in astrology in my country that says the stars incline, but they don't oblige. So I believe that when it comes to soul contracts, when it comes to the wiring of your brain, the firing of your neurons, the neuropath, when it comes to our biological DNA, to our Akashic DNA, I believe also that we have the power to rewrite, to reprogram, to actualize the story that is already written there. And I believe that's one of the steps, that's one of the task that we set ourselves as soul within this human container to do in this life, is to take what is been, is to take what we have chosen and transform it and alchemize it within the cauldron that it is our body, our sacred human body, and within the cauldron of what it is our energetic container, our soul experience. And so that really makes us alchemists, and I love that because I love magic, as you know. So today, as I promised in our last delivery, I was gonna go deeper into ancestral healing from the point of view of family constellations, but this is also coming from a kind of cosmology point of view. This is very together. This is very like it's part of the beliefs of different tribes as well. Like I shared with you, the creator, quote unquote, of family constellations, Bert Hellinger, spent some time in Africa and with the tribes, and he learned about the rituals and the ceremonies of how to heal with your ancestors. So this has a very beautiful component of, again, spirituality, shamanic practices, ancient practices, and science, which what I stated before is that I believe that when those two come together, it's magic. So let's start talking about what these energies that we are coming to heal with through family constellations are and what they represent. So you can think as family constellations healing or ancestral alchemy as like a table supported by 5 pillars. And these 5 pillars are the connection with life itself, with the Great Mother, with nature, with expansion, with brightness, with light, with life force. And that pillar is based, and our way to heal this pillar is as crazy, is just to say yes to life. I want to say yes to life. And so at the end of these small series, I'm gonna give you that meditation of how to connect with life itself, because we do have earthly parents, we do have human parents, but in the bigger picture of the soul and the spirit, our parents are only the bridge to help us come to the human experience, to the planet Earth. But beyond that, there is a bigger set of parents, if you will, and this is God, Source, Goddess, the the Creator. So this meditation is helping us remember that. So that's the first pillar, is connection with life itself. And the way we connect with life is by saying yes, but saying yes to what it is and how it is at the moment. It's saying yes to this human body, saying yes to the parents that I got, saying yes to the conditions that I'm living right now, where I'm living, the experiences that I'm experiencing as part of life. So if you find yourself, and I have found myself in this place many times, where I'm complaining about where I am or who I am, if that makes sense, I think, yes, there's moments where I have questioned, where is gonna bring me? Where is who I am as I am gonna bring me? Is what I am enough? And the answer, of course, is yes. Like I said, we are this unique expression of the Creator, of Source. Source created this beautiful recipe of unique traits that are contained within you. So yes, but in the human journey, let's be honest, we do question ourselves a lot, even more than others question ourselves. So it's saying yes to all of these things. It's saying yes to the body where you are right now. It's saying yes to where your body is right now. Like, my body is going through an immense healing journey, and I would talk about that in another episode. But some of you may know, because you follow me on Instagram, I'm undergoing a deep energetic and physical detox and cleanse, detoxing myself from heavy metals, from glyphosate, from parasites. And all of that, of course, has the emotional component, and it's really hard some days to wake up in this body that hurts, and that has to undergo this process to reclaim health again. But I can also say yes to this body and see it as what a miracle that my body has the strength to have support all my life while having all these toxins inside. And how wonderful is that my body is capable of healing itself with some support and love and acceptance. Again, saying yes is saying yes to the partners, to the friendships, to the relationships that we have at the moment, even if we are like faced with the reality that they might be challenging. Is saying yes to where you live, the job you have, because you're not there just because. You're not there randomly. The people, again, the jobs, the experiences that we choose to live, they have been divinely designed by ourselves to take us where we need to go, to the next level. And some of them really are this pressure process that would ultimately help us become the crystal that we are meant to become. And so it's saying yes to the parents that we had. Like, we can't change that. The parents that, the portals, the parents that brought us here, the lineage that brought us here, we cannot change. The only thing we can do is either fight the reality that they are our lineage, they are our blood, or we can accept that. And when I say accept, it doesn't mean condoning if within your lineage and if your parents were polarized to negative behaviors. It's not condoning that, but it's just accepting that that's what you chose. Those are the parents you chose to catalyze something within you and to bring that medicine to yourself, your lineage, and the world. So it's saying yes to the parents. It's saying yes to the country where you were born, the culture you were born in. Some of them, I would say all of the cultures, all of the countries have so much beauty and history. Like even United States, United States has, when I think of United States, oh gosh, I feel her like a warm blanket that truly receives everything. And this makes me very emotional because a lot of you know I'm an immigrant, and for the longest time I fought with this reality that I was an immigrant, and I chose to be an immigrant. I chose to come here with my husband and start a family here. But then when I looked at the experience from a different point of view, I was like, this is a warm mother blanket energy. United States was born under the portal of Sirius, which is the energy of the Divine Mother. So what happens in politics has nothing to do with the energy of United States and the story, like the tribes that were vibrant and that took care of the land, the guardians of this land. There was so much wisdom and beauty, and United States truly is a powerful place on earth, and has nothing to do what we see in the treaty. It has everything to do with what she is as a nation, as a motherland. And so it's accepting that as well. Like, it's accepting the land where you are with the good and the bad, and it's accepting the land that you come from. It's accepting the color of your eyes, your hair, and saying yes. When you say yes to the things, even though some of them can be hard and challenging, you are connecting with life. It's like you open this highway, this channel to bring life force to your container and to your energetic bubble. So when we are complaining, we're saying no to life, and we're disconnecting from that source of life force and light. But when we say yes, I take you, life, I take you as you are, I take you, then you are really optimizing the highway. You are widening the capacity for that highway to bring you life force and to bring you gifts and blessings and the resources you need to be alive. So that's the first platform. And then the second platform, we have the mother energy, the feminine lineage energy, all the women before you and before your mother. That's the second platform. And the second platform, which is the mother energy, the feminine energy, has everything to do with your relationship with money, with the quality of the resources and how those resources come and stay, the quality of your relationships, your romantic relationships, but also your relationships in friendships, your relationships in general, the self-love, that's a big one, self-image, self-worth, and relationship with food, and relationship with your capacity to nourish yourself, to love yourself. How you take care or not of yourself has to do with the mother energy. So that's a powerful one. The third pillar will be then the father energy, the male energy, the divine male energy within your lineage, the men before you and your father, and so on. That has everything to do with abundance and with the arrival and the attraction of all the resources you need. Not only money, but resources represented in clients, represented in opportunities, jobs, partnerships, anything you need to do your purpose into the world. The father energy has to do with, again, abundance, and also has to do with your connection with purpose, with that knowing inside, this is my purpose. So if you feel lost, like I don't really know what to do, I don't know what's my mission, I start many things and I don't really know what makes me vibrate, I don't really know why I'm here for, I haven't been able to connect with a job or with a profession, then that has to do with the masculine energy. Having clear boundaries with others, discipline, willpower to follow through with your plans, projects, dreams, that is also the father energy, the masculine energy. Being able to be disciplined and have a structure that makes your projects come into an actual 3D reality, that has to do with the father energy. Then the fourth platform has to do with the order of love that says that everyone is included. So within the lineage, many of our lineages, I would say every lineage has an exclusion or an excluded. Exclusions could be, people, the uncle, the sister that were sent away because they had a mental disorder, or were sent away because they brought quote unquote shame to the lineage. The uncle or the cousin or anyone in the family that was pushed out or was a secret and was never talked about because quote unquote they did something bad or shameful or something that would bring shame to the lineage. So these happen a lot, especially in past generations, where if someone would get pregnant out of marriage, if there was an uncle or an auntie that had different sexual orientations, if they would maybe have quote unquote a vice or again a mental disorder, they will push away, sometimes sent away, sometimes disowned by the family, never talked about. But those exclusions that can also be secrets, like if there's secrets within the family that are never talked about. For example, an auntie or an uncle had a child out of wedlock and things like that. Those secrets that are kept are exclusions. The babies that died before being born and were never given like their names and like their kind of like the ceremony of sending them off to the next life and acknowledging as a part of a family. The losses, babies that were lost, either natural losses or abortions, if those babies are not acknowledged properly by giving them a name and having like a proper ceremony to send them off to the other side, to the other realm, then those are also considered exclusion. So for example, there is a lot of exclusion sometimes because we were never told things like that with babies that are lost, or babies, if there is an abortion, no one ever tell us that in the energetic realm we are supposed to honor their souls and give them names and tell them they belong to the family, right? So these exclusions are also part of what is a very important pillar, because the pillar is like everyone belongs. So there is a beautiful exercise that I'm going to share when I talk specifically about this subject, but it's like you just bring objects from your house. You just ask your ancestors and you go around the house and you maybe grab pictures or plants or crystals or a rock or a chair and you place them all around. And then you tell your lineage, all of you belong. All of you belong to our lineage. And I am here to acknowledge you that all of you belong. The secrets, the kids that were lost, the kids that were sent off to war and died, the kids that died at young age from disease, everything. And you can just name everything that intuitively comes to you that you feel that might be in your lineage or as a secret. And then you just tell them, you belong to our story. Because when these exclusions exist and these secrets exist and we don't acknowledge them, then they will come around again to be reminded, to remind the lineage that they existed, that they are part of. So, for example, if there is a story of a lost baby, it would happen again until someone acknowledged there was a baby that got lost. And we never acknowledged him or her, and we never told people that it was a part of our family. So it would happen again. And it doesn't happen the same way, but it would manifest again. So, for example, if there is an exclusion, like something that has to do with money, maybe one of our ancestors excluded a partner from the company and it wasn't done the best way, right? And it was never talked about, but this person was excluded, got out of the business in a not very honest way. This exclusion will come back to reflect in our lives. And it could come back as like, no one likes me at work. My colleagues are mean to me. Like they keep taking me out of projects, or I keep being fired over and over. So it would show up until we acknowledge the exclusion. It's magical how this works. And again, if you think about it, most of this is to say yes. I love to call this acceptology. Is accepting what happened. It's accepting what is part of our lineage, and it's saying, yes, you are part of. Yes, I acknowledge you happened. I acknowledge you existed. And then the energy of that event, the energy of that ancestor, in the moment that is acknowledged, it's like it rests. Like it finally, when it's seen, it's like, I can rest now. I've been seen. I've been acknowledged. So there's no longer a reason for that to be repeated. Then the fifth platform is the connection, the reconnection with the self. The reconnection with what you are without all the stories that we carry from our ancestors. So through this process of saying yes to how things are, yes to mom, yes to dad, yes to the experiences, the excluded, the secrets, saying yes to our lineage with the good and the bad. This is how we peel layers that we are carrying from our ancestors. This is how we peel layers of the things that we think we are, or the things that we don't think we could be. How we clear and give back this baggage so who we truly are can truly be. And so you can see it. So through this process, I hope that I can help you clear the path, that you can get these beautiful reconnection with your lineage, where you accept that they were not only our ancestors, and they're the bigger ones, they're the ones that came before, but inside we have these expectations that they had to be perfect. Like, how come they didn't do better? How come they didn't like really work hard to be better parents or to do better in life? And the reality after all of this is that we realize that they were also humans living this amazing and sometimes very challenging human life. And when that realization comes, then there is this big shift inside from judgment to compassion. And then from that compassion to accepting them and to receiving them. And then when you take this big leap from judgment to compassion, then you fully reconnect with the source of everything, and you set yourself free to be everything you dream to be. So now we are going to again talk a little bit about then the first platform, which is the mother. And so the mother, according to Bert Hellinger, he said, if you had to choose any platform, any energy, any relationship to work on, if you could only do one, then you should work with the mother energy. He said that is like 80% of how your life manifests. So if you had to choose, then he said, work with the mother. And so the mother energy, as I was stating, the mother energy, it's the first relationship. The first relationship you have on earth, on this plane, is with your mother. You start on her womb as a little thing. You grow inside her womb, and while you're there, you are connected. You are inside of your mother. So talk about close relationship, right? Your mother talks to you, you kick, there's like this sense of communication, this sense of like we understand each other. I remember when I was pregnant, I truly felt like I could hear her, that we had this way of communication. It was a lot to do with me talking or singing and she kicking back and things like that. I truly believe that this relationship is very sacred, and again, it's the first one. Another thing is that when you are in the womb, you have everything you need without asking for it. You have oxygen, you have nutrients, you have warmth, you have protection, you are sway back and forward, up and down, you fall asleep, like all your needs are covered. So that's why this energy is so important, and it's like 80%, as Bert Hellinger would say, because when you are in the womb within your mom, everything you need is given without asking. And that really sets up kind of like the pattern for life. So when we come out of our mothers, they have already served the main purpose. Whatever your mom does after giving birth to you and helping you through those first years of life when you need to be fed and carry and change and breastfed and all of these things, your mom has done her job. If then it turns out that she's an amazing mom, then she's giving you extra. Our parents are meant to be the channel to come into earth. So when we start judging them, then we lose that magic that was created within the womb. Life takes our judgment towards our mothers, like you say no to the mother energy, which gave you everything you needed in the womb. Are you saying no? And that's when things don't come as easily. In the womb, everything comes easily. In the womb, we're happy to be there. We receive everything. We don't complain. We don't judge. We just receive. We know that we are supported. Somehow we know. And that's the same with life. And the moment that we start complaining and judging and resenting our mothers, is like that womb energy of getting everything we need to be supported. It's like we're saying no to that. So when you say yes to mom, when you take her as she is, you're saying yes to that energy that supports you, that energy that brings everything you need to you without even asking. So that's a big one, right? Another thing with mom is that we receive our nutrients through mom. And then when we are born, mom feeds us, whether she breastfeeds us or give us bottles or both. And then when we are older, she gives us food. So the relationship with food is gonna be our relationship. It's gonna like have a big relationship with mom, and the way our mom fed us, and the way our mom nurture us beyond not only food. Nourishment and like nurture gets reflected in our relationship with food and the way we take care of ourselves. So the way mom took care of us, but the way mom took care of herself is gonna model how we take care of ourselves and prioritize our care and our nourishment. Is a very big one. I grew up with a mom that neglected her self-care completely, and I found myself neglecting precisely my self-care, my exercise routine, sometimes even food. Sometimes it's like 4 p.m. and I realize I haven't eaten the whole day because I prioritize other things, but I'm learning, doing better at becoming aware that there's a moment in our life when we become adults where we have to re-parent ourselves and then become the archetype of the mom within and start literally mothering ourselves. And that's the order of nature. That's how it should be. But when we don't heal that relationship with mom, and we don't like consciously make an effort to just understand that our moms were humans at the same time as they were trying to raise us. And if you're a mom, but if you don't, let me tell you, once you are a mom and have that experience of raising especially small children, you realize that you don't have a lot of time to really go within, to really take care of yourself, to really nurture that relationship with yourself, and to have time to heal. So it is very difficult, and sometimes just witnessing myself and raising my little girl, I realized that really my mom didn't have the tools or the consciousness or the time to work on her inner child trauma, generational trauma, and she really did the best she could as she was raising me. She was also being a human with her own struggles, her own insecurities, her own pain and trauma. So I really think the world should give moms more grace, because I'm in it, and believe me, there's so many times where like, wow, I see you, mom. I see you. This is hard, and there's not a lot of time for this self-healing, but it's a commitment that I've done to myself. So whenever I have the time, I work on that, because I also want to create a new destiny and legacy for my children and for the descendants to come, right? So, and one last thing about mom, I mean, I could talk about this for hours. I'm being very passionate about this as I've been doing my own generational trauma healing for the last 2 decades, if not more. And as a practitioner, I see the magic and the power on this. But the last thing about the mother energy or the mom is that as she's the first relationship that you have on this planet, she's the one that facilitates the relationship with the rest of the world. And the second relationship she's going to facilitate or not, and that's like the really crucial point, is she's the one that facilitates the relationship with that and the divine masculine energy and what that represents in our life. So what I'm going to invite you next is to maybe use this week to start thinking what are the things that I talk about today that are maybe not working the way you want them to work, or where there's like a blockage, where there's like a sense of unfulfillment, and start journaling about that. And maybe perhaps try to remember the dynamics of relationship with mom. What were the patterns? What were the communication styles? What was allowed to express? What was not allowed? Because that's going to help us starting to realize where the blockages come from or where they might come from. And sometimes if you happen to think or you really have a good relationship with mom, these blockages can come from before. So in my case, I really don't have a lot of complaints about my mom. Again, in this healing journey, I have come more to a place of compassion, and as a mom now, I realize I see her with so much grace. She really did far beyond what she could, honestly. But is this understanding that these generational traumas or blockages could come also from previous relationships between mother and son or daughter. So it will be really interesting if there is any blockages in your life related with the feminine energy, with the mother energy, which is also the support, is the contention, is that feeling within your bones, your cells, your DNA that lets you know no matter what that you are supported. And I guess we seen people in the world that have that sense of contention, like you are held. So that's the mother energy. That's the beauty of the mother energy. One last thing, like our temperaments, like our reactions, the way we handle emotions are commonly learned through that relationship with mom, and they could also be passed down through a relationship from mom to daughter, daughter to mom, etc. So really, this is already a long podcast, but if you want to know more about ancestral healing, family constellations, don't hesitate to reach out at www.thegoodkarmalife.com. Send me a DM over at Lore Marti on Instagram or at The Good Karma Life on Instagram. If you go on the webpage, you can also find beautiful sessions, but there's also a complementary sessions in case you want to work with me one-on-one, but you don't really know what you want to work on, or also if you just want to try and see if we're a fit to work with each other. But on the next delivery, on the next episode, again, because I love to empower you, I love to give you the tools, I'm going to be delivering a meditation to work and to heal with the feminine lineage, with the mother energy, and not only to heal, again, also to reclaim all the blessings that your ancestors worked so hard for. Like your ancestors didn't go through all the war, the sickness, the separation, the immigration, all the hard things that happen, so you wouldn't live your brightest life. So this meditation is also a beautiful place to reconnect with all of that beauty, the gifts, the talents, the magic that exists within your lineage. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. For now, dear listener, know that you are loved. Know that there is always a tower of light around you, waiting for you to drop your shields and just pour love and compassion and peace and kindness and blessings over you. I see your light. I am so honored for you to give me a space to be, for give me a platform to be who I am and to share my journey, the journey that I have walked. And see you next week.